Welcome back, everybody, to WWTA News. I greatly appreciate you returning back for another episode. This episode, we're going to do some talking. We're going to get into some thoughts and ideas. And before we do, though, if you haven't already done so, could I get you to hit that like button? I greatly appreciate that. It helps get this video in front of more people. Also, if you have any family, friends, or loved ones who you think could use any of this information to help move forward in their life, please send them the link to the video so they too have the same opportunity that you have yourself. Now, with all that out the way, let's get into this conversation. So, this time, I really want to talk to you all about what's going on in the 5 years that I've been in crypto now. So I'm going to pretty much take you to the beginning of where I started, going through, and where I kind of see this all going. Where I started in around 2018. It's towards the end of the year of 2018. Friend that I met working explained to me this crazy idea about Bitcoin and Ethereum and this stuff called cryptocurrency. So in 2018, this is where this stuff is being brought to my attention. Like anybody else, the first thing I think automatically is this some type of scam. I don't want to, get involved in that stuff. Some type of scam. It's only meant to, take all your money from you. I don't want no parts of it, right? So, needless to say, I did a little research. And after I did a little bit of research, couldn't have been no more than a day or two of research. And I said, well, you know what? Something's telling me to just work with it for a little bit, figure out what's going on, follow it, because this might end up helping go in a direction. So 2018, end of 2018, I come into the space, and then I say, okay, I'm going to move in it. All right. That year, I probably moved $100 to $200 into that space, which meant that I was taking those dollars and converting them into digital currencies. At the time, I called them cryptocurrencies. I didn't know much about the stuff. I was still researching it. And so that's the phase I went through. Now, that was at the end of 2018. 2019 comes into play. 2019 comes into play, and I started learning more. I'm just feeding information. I'm just feeding on it. I'm going through YouTubers' channels, getting to know the information they have. I'm starting to go to actual .io sites, .com sites, and I'm reading up on their stuff. I try to get into white papers. There's really technical stuff there, and I don't like that too much. So then I just start trying to follow these blockchains, these systems, these networks. And so that goes on. I'm talking about crypto more and more, especially with the coworker who brought me into this atmosphere, this digital currency space. So we're talking all the time. We're learning about it. We're keeping up with the news. And so I'm starting to grow in that environment, and I'm still taking United States dollars and converting these things in 2019 into digital currencies, right? But it's 2019, just like 2018. I'm just putting money in, and I'm not really making any money. But I'm believing in what this thing is, so I'm just going to keep going, right? 2020. So in 2020, I think maybe the fall of 2020, I was probably about $800 in. I've probably taken $800 US and converted into digital currencies. So, somewhere around that time, some crazy stuff happens. It's pretty massive spike for the amount of $800 that I put in. I see major growth. At this point in time, you've got more talk about legislation, regulation. I believe even at this time we had the federal government talking about FedNow, which is where they were going to basically use this technology to get digital currency in the hands of people. So a lot of things are going on, keeping up with the news, keeping up with current to what these what these blockchain networks are doing, right? And at this time, we're starting to see more digital currencies, blockchains, networks coming into being. Okay, it wasn't that much even in 2018 and 2019. It really wasn't that many, but in 2020, we start seeing this stuff start to blossom. Things are really starting to grow. All right. So even then, I've turned $800 into a good amount of money, very good amount of money. So 2020 is not looking bad. So I'm closing out 2020. The year's closing out. We're going into 2021. And so somewhere around the latter part of January, I'm coming into January with a good amount of money from the digital currencies, the $800 that I moved into digital currencies. Those digital currencies have started, towards the end of 2020, increasing in value. So that money has really transformed right before my eyes. 2021, toward the latter part of January, the first month, I really see crazy growth, stupid growth. I mean, it's dumb. And I'm shocked. I'm like, well, who knew this was going to happen, right? Like, it was shocking. And so it continued to move and grow. And it saw some really crazy growth. And then, we're seeing more news. We're hearing more about legislation. All these things are going on, and so as I'm talking with my co-worker about these things, we're like kind of looking at the future, saying we can really see the end game with what's going on with these digital currencies. So that's 2018 when I come into this space, 2020 when I saw stupid growth in this space, which, I mean, it'll blow your mind. Now, we're in 2022, right? And so 2022 looks like what 2018 looked like for me. All right. Now, I've seen some massive growth, and now that massive growth looks terrible. It looks like 2018 did when I first got in. So it's like, okay, you've got some money in there, but it's like, oh wow, your money's terrible. It's like, oh, this is ugly. It's very bad. It's like, oh my God. Most people would not be in this space if they saw what I had, my 2018, my first year in. You know what I'm saying? Most people would not be in this space saying, wow, $200, like, that's where you're at. But you've got to believe on it, right? And I hate to say believe, because that word's retarded. You have to have an understanding of what's actually happening with this space and what's going on for the future. So you'd have to know all those things and understand those things to actually be in this space. So when we look at 2022, that looks just like 2018 to me. What do you mean by all this, right? So the way I see things, this looks like a 4-year cycle to me. As I look back to 2018, it looks like a 4-year cycle. And what just happened is 2022 turned into 2018, which means that 4 years is going to bring us to 2025. Things are going to be crazy like 2021 was. Could be. That's just what it's looking like to me. Based on what things looked like for me in 2018. I've been in here since 2018. I know people have been in here in a longer time than that. And some people have probably been here 2014 and can probably tell me what happened for their 4 years, right? With that being said, I've got a few thoughts on what I think can possibly happen. Some might call this a prediction, but I'm not calling this a prediction. This is my thoughts on what I've seen since 2018 all the way up to now. Here we are in 2022. Going to the end of the year. These are going to be my thoughts and ideas of what I think the possibilities may be, right? Just possibilities. And don't take my word on any of these things. I'm telling you possibilities, thoughts and ideas, all right? So some of the thoughts I have is, I actually think that this is a 4-year cycle. That's what I truly think at this point. I could be way off. But for me, my 4 years, this is what I've seen, right? And if I'm seeing this again, then to me it looks like 2022 is my 2018. Then if I follow track with that, then 2019 is going to be stagnant to me as well. And this is how I'm seeing it for me. So then I would assume if I'm following my trend from 2018 to 2021, 2019 is going to be stagnant. I'm going to be feeding or converting my dollars into these digital currencies, closing out this year at the best prices, phenomenal for me. 2023 is probably going to be a little bit higher prices, but not that high from where they are now. And I think, I'm going to see a whole year like that. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. I think the whole year of 2023 is going to be pretty much trading sideways, right? As they would say, stagnant. Nothing's really going on. It's just blah. We're going to still see major news, but I don't think the major news that we're seeing is going to change anything as we progress through 2023. Now, again, we're towards the closing of 2022, right? We're getting closer to that time. So I'm thinking, I'm imagining in my mind based on 2018 that 2023 is going to be like 2019, which means it's going to be just stagnant, no real growth. All right. So then that therefore means that 2024, I'm going to see a bump. I'm going to see some drastic changes, right? Something's going to be boom. And those numbers are going to be like, oh, wow, I suspect this. Based on my 2018 to 2021, I suspected maybe 2024, maybe summer, fall, towards the end of 2024, there's going to be a bump. And the bump's going to be pretty big, in my opinion, based on the fact that this go around, not only are we going to have a lot of retail citizens and common people in the space, but as all these things are changing with legislation and so on and so forth. But we're going to also see the institutions making major moves, because the institutions are going to exist because we exist. They have to be there because we're here. So I think 2024 summer, fall closing is going to possibly be a massive bump. Something that's going to shock everybody, right? So, 2018 to 2021, we're talking 2022 all the way up to 2024. So 2025 is going to have to be something super crazy if it's going to be anything like 2021 was for me when it happened, which means that mind-blowing, changing for generations, mind-blowing. So this is something that I'm suspecting going forward in the future. All right. So 2018 was dead for me, and 2021 was out of control for me. So that's why I'm suspecting that 2022 is dead right now for me. I'm suspecting 2025 to be just crazy. I'm expecting that based on what I've seen in the 4 years I've been in the space, even though this is 2022. So for my 2018 to 2021, this is what I'm kind of expecting. Could be wrong, could be off. This is just what I'm expecting, because all this is still technically new. All right, so I think 2022 is the start of the same cycle as the cycle I went through in 2018, making January 2025 a major month or a major beginning to an amazing year of financial freedom for a lot of people who take advantage of 2022. We also, something that also can work in our favor as we continue to grow in this space is the fact that we have many nations that are coming into the digital currency space as well. As if you've been keeping up with the channel, you've seen news article after news article of all these different countries and nations that have gotten into this space and are using it to better their communities, their nations, their people, their ecosystem, their financial system, right? Remember, it's technology first. Institutional investments and the creation of all these dApps, right? These decentralized applications. So it's being used. It's majorly being used. The institutions are using it more, and you have a lot of use with us, quote unquote, common people or citizens using it like crazy as well. So these things right here, I believe, also might cause a little bit more growth through 2023 to 2025, because these things are happening when they weren't happening in my 2018 to 2021. Another thing is central bank currency has technically failed. All right. It's failed in most countries, and now commodities and assets are backing currencies, and all nations are using goods and services to pretty much back the value of their currency, to give their currencies value. So these are some of the other things that I think about going forward in the future. We could take some of the stories, some like Africa. They're backing their digital currency with their resources, as well as countries like Russia. And so many other countries are coming in line too and following in suit. I'm sure we're going to see Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, a lot of Middle Eastern countries doing the same thing, using their commodities, their goods, to back up a national currency on the blockchain. So these next few years, in my thoughts and ideas, will be generational transformation for us all. And so I hope you all think about these things and take advantage of what's in front of you, because like I said, this 2022 looks like my 2018, and if it's going to follow suit in these 4 years based on what I've gone through, I'm going to take advantage of it. And I'm sharing this information because I would you all think about these things. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. You do your own research and be involved in this space. But for me, this is kind of what I'm looking at, and I'm going to continue to move down this path and see where it goes. Have I put in as much money as I have? No way, Jose. Nowhere near. Okay. And so I'm going to follow it because I believe in the technology. I believe in where we're going as a whole. And if you pay attention, we're done with debt-based currencies. That's a whole nother video. I'm not going to talk about it now, but we're in a system of debt-based currencies, and it's pretty much what's destroyed the money system as we know it. It's a debt-based. So that's why it's destroyed, and why we have to watch it go night-night as this new system comes into play. So look, that's something I just want to talk to you all about, share my thoughts on that. If you got any comments, please put them in the comments box. I will be checking and reviewing those things. And if it's something that you would like to have discussed, I'll bring it up in another episode and discuss it. So I hope you gained value out of this. If you did, you could always hit that like button. And as well, share this video to your family, friends, and loved ones so they can get this information, receive it, and have the same opportunities that you have yourself to promote a bigger, better, brighter future for you and the generations to come. I will catch you all in the next episode, and I thank you again for joining us.